maybe we can shift gears and go to something that you are an expert of. And I heard a little bit from you, which is crystals and how you use crystals
Yeah.
in the healing process. And so someone who's like me, who doesn't know too much, I mean, I'm fascinated with certain stones. And these days, in our culture, we have started to see shops and places where you can actually see these stones and buy them. And I know that they definitely have an effect.
Yeah.
Nothing else, just the aesthetics can be shocking, and different people can be attracted to different stones. So yeah, take it away.
Yeah. This was, yeah, no, this was the perfect segue because we're talking about the earth
Yes.
and, talking about how like the sacredness of the earth and like understanding that the earth is alive and tapping into the fact that we have a vibration and the earth has a vibration, right? The Schumann resonance is what it's been called, 7.83 hertz, I think, or megahertz. I forget which, if there's an M before the hertz or not. But we each have a vibration, right? And it's almost as if the crystals are the bridge that connects us back to the earth and connects us into the celestial cosmological realms, right? So it's like the crystals and stones are these beautiful gifts from the earth that we use to connect back to the earth and up into the heavens. Just a side note. So there's like the character for like man in if you look up the character for man in like Mandarin, and it kind of looks like this, where it's like there's this upright piece and then underneath. And it's almost as if man is like the connector between the realms of heaven and earth. And then
Mm.
like the radical for stone is something very, very similar, showing that it's a connector between heaven and earth, And
Wow.
so there's this beautiful, deep, deep, deep connection between the two that if you are into crystals and gemstones, you kind of get a glimpse of that, based off of there's like you go to the gem store and there's these little cards and the cards tell you, what each crystal is pretty much for. And a lot of times they'll say this is great for psychic clairvoyance, this is great for grounding energy, this is great for protection, this is great for this is great for that kind of thing. So there's like these little notes that come with each stone that tells you a little bit about them. And so that is beautiful in itself that, people have tapped into stones on a level that they receive information from them and then therefore it becomes like attached to the stone's identity for us in this physical reality. And so there's a lot of that that's happening within the stone and crystal world. And the only thing is that sometimes those beliefs attached to the stones, they come through a filter, right? So like we're each giant filter is receiving information from, so if like you sat and you meditated with a big piece of amethyst and I sat at the same time and meditated with a big piece of amethyst, we would have two different, some similarities, but our experiences would be our own. They'd be unique
Right.
because we're the one that's filtering that information. So, my best advice is to not just say that this book says that the stone does that, so that's what the stone does, because it all depends on the person and the person's connection with the crystal, with the stone. And so, I actually had this like really old book and I was reading because, I've always loved crystals and stones, but I just didn't really know how to incorporate that in my life. I didn't really know how to do it and how to treat my patients with them. Like a lot of times I'd be like, oh, this stone would be this. I'm going to use this one on my patient. I'm going to use that one. Why? I could never tell you. It was just purely a feeling that I had gotten that I was like, I need to put this on this person's body. Like that's as far as the information that I received. And
Right.
so now I'm understanding that there's a way that we can connect to crystals and we can actually like imprint what we really need. We can put our intention into the crystal, and the crystals, they are like these beaming gifts of light. Like they are these beaming gifts of light from the Mother Earth, from Gaia. She's gifted us these beautiful, beautiful pieces that have so much wisdom within them. They have taken a very long time to grow. And because of that, they've been around for thousands and in some cases, millions of years. to actually grow. So the knowledge that is within a stone is, you can't even touch it. Like, it's so deep and it's so powerful. And so when you pick up one, like, here, I'll grab this pretty one. This is like a little cluster
Oh,
of,
nice. It's
yeah,
quartz.
yeah, this is just quartz. It's like a little quartz cluster. I go to the gem shop and I go and I get this is my stone, right? And I'm like, this is a stone that I felt when I went to the store. I'm like, oh yeah, that's my stone. So what you want to do is not just take it home and just put it on the shelf and be like, oh, you're so pretty. You could do that. I mean, you could, and it would probably be happy there. But what you really want to do is you want to connect to the stone. You want to hold it in your hands. And one thing that my stone teacher says that is very powerful to do, and she's gotten me and our whole class into doing, is saying the Ho'oponopono prayer to your stones. And that helps to kind of clear whatever there might be, like how the stone was mined, where it was pulled from, if it suffered in any way in its extraction process. So you say the words like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? So you say those
Yes.
words to the stone in your hand at least 3 times, or until as many times until you feel as though you feel something happen. And then you want to hold the stone, and with your mind, you want to say, like, for this stone, I intend for this stone to help with me with whatever. So you're sending the vibration into the stone and into the crystal. And it's like you're imprinting on it. Then the crystal becomes one with you, and it's synced up with your vibration. And so then when you obviously, it's going to be sitting because you're not going to have it on you all the time. But then, in order to really work with crystals and allow them to kind of imbue you with their vibration, you can just close your eyes. The stone's already you imprinted on it from the beginning, and then you close your eyes and then you connect your mind to the stone, and you allow your mind to speak to the crystal, to the stone, and open up like a channel of communication. I think we were talking about this a little bit before. And you create a channel of communication with the stone, and just be in a place of receiving after that. Instead of like laser focusing down, you make the connection with your mind, and then you just sit and you keep yourself open, and then you allow whatever messages that the stone wants to send you. You're open to that communication. And so that's a really easy, quick way to connect with our beautiful friends from the stone and crystal worlds. And to remember to not just go off of what this book says or what this card says. It's really about like your personal relationship with them and building that. And they'll speak to you, and they will talk to you. You will feel pulled to them. It's wild when you start to really connect with them. Yeah, and you receive beautiful messages.
No, thank you so much. Thank you for giving a tutorial. Almost, you walked us through a meditative process on how to connect with these stones. And something that
Yeah.
came to kind of my mind was, I myself have a kind of a scientific background, and in the past I've been very skeptical. I would say being a little bit skeptical is useful, but too much is when you're actually just trying to find reasons to reject certain things.